Hey guys, you've got Lady Hippy and we are at the bar. I love owning a bar. Long story, I've said it before. Page back a couple. Hi. So, those of you who know me, hit the like, dislike, whatever side of the family you're on. Yeah, I'm just like that. So, it's for entertainment purposes only, guys, so don't take me too serious. And I'm not really that entertaining, but I don't make any money doing this. Not adverse to making money doing this. I have had one of those days again, trying to figure out. Well, I've got birthdays, his and mine, anniversary, his and I think mine. Yeah. So, and in between that, you're trying to get everything else you have to get done. And on top of that, we have Labor Day. Now that we worked that in, we were civil service. Well, I was, and he worked for the. We both worked for the state of Texas at the time. So, yeah, you want to use those days off really well when you have a honeymoon and somebody else is paying for it. So, so we ran that right on into Labor Day and ended up getting nearly 2 weeks off and using I think only 5 days days off. We would want to have at Christmas, so what have you. Had a great wedding, guys. We didn't have a family member in sight of 5 states. I would loved it. Had a great time. So that's coming up tomorrow. It's his birthday. And again, another long story. Our anniversary is on the same day. And my birthday was Monday. And don't ask how old I am because you will never find out. It's a state secret. I love those guys. So, pardon everything. Today, I'm kind of a little thrown together. I've got a house I'm trying to get clean. And that's like GI clean because that's the way I know how to clean a house. And if it's not that, I don't know what the hell to call it. But it's not clean. So, I mean, everything has to be swept, mopped, vacuumed, shampooed, dusted, and I mean dusted with soap and water and cloths and put back. And yeah, so that's fun too. I'm trying. We have a big bar. It's not enough to have be open, say for business, but it's big enough to have one hell of a party. And of course, behind me is the living room that we also just would just make all this one thing, and it worked out pretty good. Saves a lot on Uber. I don't know which one's coming up here. I like to throw it just since it's YouTube. I like to throw just some music on behind me just so I don't faint. Speaking of fainting, those who know me, oh, it's going to be another long story. Those of you who know me know that I am in the habit since I'm at the bar. It's usually noon to 2 when I come up, and I have a stiffener. This is what they called it in my adopted mother's time, which was World War I, II, Depression era, all that stuff. Jeez, did they go through the mill? And so the ladies would faint and they'd do the little ammonia thing, and you can do that under anybody. It's going to rock it up. That thing's terrible. Um, but you get to know your parents fairly well, even if I was adopted. And I'm not sure she was fainting that much. I thought sometimes she was just practicing for a part she had with me on stage or something. I was a very precocious kid. And so then they would bring him a stiffener, whatever the men had in the house that was, whiskey, rye, bourbon, brandy, whatever we have 70 at the bar. I could just like point at one. I haven't tried that yet. Mm. That's nice. I like to try to pull out I don't entertain as how I used to anyway. So I have like 400 shot glasses from around the world, different stemware glasses and so forth. So I like to change it up a little bit. Um, I always thought those stages were stiff because they never changed it. I may not change a lot, but I have somewhat of a background. I'm trying, okay? I had to have a hiatus for 10 months because I broke my leg in 3 places. And basically, I broke the two bones in you have two bones in your leg, tibia and fibia. I broke both those, and then down at the fibia, which was attached to the ankle at the top, I broke that. And I don't mean snap or nothing. I mean, looks like claws are trying to get out, kind of. Go to get surgery. The hurricane hit. Couldn't do nothing for another 2 weeks because the city was down. VA was running ER only, and they were on generators. And I mean, everything was closed down. You couldn't get food, nothing that first couple of days. People figured it out, finally told everybody else as much as they could. Everybody tell them, you can go to the store, they're open over in Athens or where have you. And yeah, everybody had to drive, to a neighboring city to get food, to get their pet food, to get water, to get anything. I mean, and then if you did have generators, most people's generators run on gas. And I think my son's, he had to have his professionally installed. They have one of those $250,000 homes, one of those big things that I don't want to clean anymore. Which is why I downsized. I'm still cleaning too much. Yes, we have something going on. We're not sure if it's a poltergeist or if it's just too much on the inside wiring in this area. When the air conditioning kicks in, it goes dark. So if there's any screaming, just keep watching. It might get better. I don't know. I'm up. It says anything and everything sometimes up there. I can't never remember what channel I'm on. And lately, I bought new equipment, or my husband did, after my 10 months of not being able to move, basically, no way, and all that. Finally, I could start moving just last month before my birthdays. His were coming up. I was able to start physical therapy. And now I don't have to have anything but me. I can walk. I have so much hardware with me. I drove to get to the VA. You have to drive by. We have a small airport, and then we have a larger regional airport. A lot of important folk come down here. We're around that golf thingy every year, so can't drive with a leg. My husband is up there. No, it's not this side. It's on the other side. Me, I'm just pedaling along at 30 miles an hour, going, "Hey, I'm out for the day. I'm good." Because at first, even when I started walking again, I couldn't use the leg enough to drive. I mean, it took time to rebuild all those muscles and things. Had to learn to stop hopping on one leg. I miss that. I thought to myself, I said, "Okay, myself, listen up. You need to figure out what you're going to talk about today, and now generally go over whatever is in the news." The news hasn't been the news since I was 9 and Walter Cronkite was on. So then I realized I needed to know what was on the legacy media first, so I can pop over to, say, Sky News or CBN, the Christian Broadcast Networks, to see what the hell is really going on. But their little stories are cute, aren't they? Oh, no, Morning, what's his name? Morning Joe something. That boy's an idiot. How come he's still there? I mean, he's just plumb idiot. He's just weirdo idiot. I mean, I hate catching any clip with him in it. He's also very domineering. No matter who's on there, and it's a panel or it's him and that poor little blonde girl, that long suffering girl. I've seen it off and on for years now, but she just sits there. She'll just sit there. She'll hold her coffee. She, I don't know how much they're paying her, but if they see this, look, I'll take one half her salary. I'll even talk if you want. Maybe she wasn't supposed to talk, but that's all she does. And I'm thinking, God, I hate to, I don't think I'd make it. If I had to go someplace and not talk, no, I wouldn't make it. I'm a talker. I don't care if I know you. I don't care where I'm at. I'm going to talk. So, if it's rude and you don't really want to listen, I'll change seats or something. Being an old lady is fun, I'll tell you what. So I didn't come up with a damn thing. Not that I really thought that we hadn't talked about already. And I know everybody knows I had a 3-day weekend already because I had the weekend in Monday with my birthday, so I took 3 days off there. So I came back running up here, and I had the same problem yesterday. I was like, I don't know what's going on. My equipment's new, and it's kicking me off my live stream. Sometimes at 18 minutes, sometimes I get my whole hour or so in. Sometimes it's 28 minutes. It just goes string finish. And I'm like, okay. I'm not paying them, so I can't. Cameraman's done. It's like, okay, I know it's for entertainment, so really I need to concentrate, right? No, I don't. Is everybody else like me? I have a granddaughter. She's 13. My grandson is 26, and we're all 20 years apart. My grandson and I, my son and I. So he's 20 years younger than his father, and his father is 20 years younger than his mother. And I'm not saying what age. Oh, I just said sugar. Now I really forgot where I was going. Most of the time, I have a good time getting up here. I have fun at the VA when I get there, and I have to be up there Tuesday for a bunch of different stuff that's making me worry. Just a wee bit about my health after just getting on my feet. I take a standard test, and they've already set me up at Doctor's Hospital. This is the VA. They don't like to pay Doctor's Hospital. It's like that one on TV that was that soap opera. Yeah, it's like that, like Days of Our Soap or some shit. I don't know. It's one of those that's haunting, and they have money and they worry me. The VA, I know they're working. They got those rich ones are just shit. Check her out later. I mean, so I don't want to be the one that waits 4 hours because they go. She looks real healthy and she hasn't shut up yet. So I'm hoping I can just turn this down a little bit and get through there. They already called me again yesterday to tell me a different set of tests also had been ordered. So they're going to do, I had to go in 2.5 hours early to do all of this stuff. And if they hadn't caught me, it would have been 3 or 4 visits. And I'm like, I'm getting annoyed. I kind of stay that way a lot, but you know where I'm going. So yeah, that's going to happen on Tuesday. So I'm going to have a 4-day weekend. Is the whole point of this shit. Okay. You ought to watch. It's at least silly. I mean, I am who I am. I have had several friends, and I'm ready to broadcast, debate or have a guest, however we want to put that shit. I call it like a debate with a friend. Is this, don't two people agree completely on everything, and that's the fun part. you know, like Joe Rogan. I like the way he does this a casual shay. What also astonished me, and mind you, they're smoking and all this too, and even the VA has, and I think the governor has too, now said that medical marijuana is illegal. I think it's federally so with our state as well, but I'm not positive. And since I'm on like 15 medications, no lie, my hand to God, I I don't want to start running back to the VA again every month so that they can say, yeah, you're okay. Give me the same thing. It took me 4 years to talk them out of stopping to do that. Just finally look, at that point, I had a 6 hour drive. Now it's a 15-minute drive, and they don't want to see me. First, it was twice a year. Now it's once a year, unless I call them, say, hey, I'm still this age, and yeah, something fell up. Fuck off, okay? Maybe get an appointment that year. It's too much sometimes. I've gotten where I like these little chunky break. One of my gifts from my husband for the birthday thing. And suddenly here I am at this age, and I started like in chunky breaks, and I thought, I went to take one off, and I said, boy, I'm catching a lot of these nowadays. I'll have to give it its own storage little thing or something, because there's getting quite a few. I wonder why I'm liking these. And I thought, oh, I see. It makes sure your arm doesn't look as chunky as it. This thing adds 40 pounds, I swear. The camera, ladies, adds 40 pounds. It's no 10-pound shit. They get serious with these things. Every wrinkle, every gel, all of it's here. So I don't think I'd do so bad for my age. And yeah, I'm good with it. I earned these bitches. Every one of these gray hairs is mine. And I'm not paying anybody to cover up shit. Not happening. I don't do salon appointments. I go in to see my hairdresser. My cat's photobombed me, by the way. That was Fast Walker. We call him the Nipper. It's weird in my house because he'll go in and out of my husband's. Here he goes. In between my husband to get him to give attention and pet him. And on the third little eight, you know, loop that he does, he nip him. And Robert will reach down and say, don't bite me. And wait for him to come around, do it again. It was like, so I've been calling him the nipper. So yes, I do need to get out more, but I was hoping it wasn't going to always be the hospital. Here I do. I had just thanked everybody for being so great during my whatever I want to call it, lying. And where you have to learn how to also rearrange everything in your room so that you can reach it. And I just mean reach it. I don't mean get up or hop to it. I mean reach it. Microwaves, refrigerators. Because it was so cute. I didn't even think about it. They gave me a set of crutches and just to get home on it before the next day to see the surgeon. And that was a month later that the surgery was, but so they didn't want me barely to get up. It was definitely bedridden. Uh, just to get into the ladies' room, it was like, oh God. And I mean, catch me. It took a while for the one leg to realize it was having to hold the hell everything up. And then one of the first things that happened was it said, shut the hell up and stop eating potato chips. And it was, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to sit and eat bonbons all the time because I weigh 400 pounds, and trying to get it to work. So I really wanted to work. So I'm not going to kind of have some carrots and stuff like that. No, really, not so much. My husband likes to cook occasionally. I don't ever like to cook. It's been a thing with me all my life. So he's still doing a pretty good job. He doesn't drink coffee. I have to have coffee. It's a thing with me. I don't know. I grew up, my family was that way. We girls, myself and my sister, we were not allowed to have coffee until we were, I think it was 14 or 15. And we could have coffee with the adults. Not every time they had one, we could have a cup of coffee. Because, man, you get up there. Oh, we have to drink. I didn't drink coffee then, of course, except shoot again, probably until I was in my 20s. Because I might have a small cup at mess sometimes, but I prefer to drink milk. So that, yeah. It's confusing people if you go through those lines and you start ordering different things. They don't like that in the army. I just would reach in and get my milk and keep going. Because I'd also found out it was hard to get things like sugar. So, when I have coffee, I have to have sugar. That shit's awful without sugar and cream. And I like tea. And when my son had me trace my DNA for Christmas about 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm British and Scottish, which made me laugh like crazy because I'd been saying that my whole life. And I knew my last name was, even though I was adopted, then they kept saying, no, that's not your name. It was. My last name was exactly what I said it was. And so I knew it was British, probably with Scotland because of the red hair, green eyes thing. And, that's so not Native. I married a Native American. It's just dark. All over dark. It's fun at night when you're camping. You're thinking, smile, damn it. Which did smile? And luckily I don't do that anymore, but one of those big RVs, like a Wonder Lodge, it's a house. The side comes out, gives you another room, and love that damn thing. I have trouble with several things, my back and my hip, a bit of bone density. For all of you who don't, and I did not understand what that meant, have it checked in your 50s. Don't wait till like me for so long, because exercise does great, but it's for the muscles, not the bone. So you might need to check in your 40s to get a really good head start at that. No, I haven't had to surgery or anything yet, but it does slow me down a great deal. But at least I know what's going on with it, so I'm good with that. I don't have to have a crutch, a cane. I don't have to have any of that anymore. Of course, about 8 hours after my feet hitting the floor, I'm way back with it up in the air on ice, but I'm working that. um, I also needed to warn everybody. I think I did that. If I might just go off. My stream might end, and I don't know why yet. I'm not a professional. I just get up here and talk. Um, I am. I wish I was like the White Files, and I had a heckle fish. I think that's a great deal. That I love heckle fish. Hey guys, um, Douglas Murray's another one I like to tell everybody. Guys, check that man out. That man's an amazing man. If you want to know what's going on, just listen to Douglas Murray. He was a born Britain young man and educated at Oxford, I believe, and he's now an American. But he's a famous author, press. I mean, he's something else, and he's covered. I know of 10 years, if not more, of the Middle East in particular, usually Israel, because the Middle East keeps trying to kill them. I do not understand what they don't get. None of them, the Russians, they're the aggressors. They know how to start the war started. They picked up a rifle and they shot. Oh, let me see. Now they tortured about 1,200 and some of kids to death, and oh yeah, most of their parents and babies and beheadings and rapes and yeah, and that wasn't good enough because the citizens found the place that opened it and they came over and joined in. And I had the same question that one elderly woman who'd made it through, but she'd lost, I forget how many she had lost. And it seems to me that just like the suburbs here, your family's like in this house is like everybody loves Raymond, and a mile and a half down the street is your daughter's house. And that's kind of the way some of them were. So some lost their whole families if they made it. Some barely made it. And yet, the very next day, I'm listening to people on college campuses screaming about from the river to the sea. Well, I was like everybody else who asked the question, do they know what river and what sea? Do they know what purpose this is to? Why are the women wearing those checkered things? They would behead them for that, wouldn't they, in Iran? I got something for you, cupcakes. Go to your Google, your search engine, whichever Bing, I don't care. Go to your search engine and put in what happens to women in Iran if a lock of their hair is seen. And then come back out and put on that PLO little bits you got there. Got a little checkered thing. I dare you. And come to my house so we can discuss the matter. Because I don't think nobody's that stupid. And if you're going to any college, you used to have to pass SATs. I understand now that apparently you can get in because your hair is orange and you may think you're a girl or not, as the occasion is. Who gives a shit? Okay, you're laying there dying and you are not saying, no, I need the gay dude down the hall who's white like me to get my blood. Or I'm a Mexican. I want that guy over there on the street. He's got to, you gonna be able to do that shit? No, you ain't gonna be able to do that shit. Ain't no difference. Nobody needs to be running around going, I'm a this, that, and American. If you're an American, you're a fucking American. It's goddamn simple. It's short. I mean, I could sit here all day long and talk about race. Who couldn't? What is it they tell you when you guys were kids growing up? There was a couple things you didn't talk about. Politics and fucking religion. And you guys seem to have made a religion into everything, off in people's faces with bullhorns. I double dare you to try that to me. Mm-hmm. And y'all like to go around campuses spray painting books. I sure would like you to do that near me. Yes, I would. Yes, I enjoy a good debate. And I kept saying, where are the parents? Because my kid's like my mom would kill me. My son is in his 40s. And he's no small thing either. I am. My grandson now is also 6'2", and he'll tell you in a heartbeat he's scared of his grandma. He's not kidding. I get an equalizer. I don't care how old I am, how short I am. I never did. That's why I took karate for so many years. Yeah, a strawberry blonde, green eyed, 5'2" waitress, or as I became, Barbie. And you want to get stupid. When I drive around the next day, just see if they had to go to the hospital. Then we didn't have 911. I don't know where I got so meandering. That's why I hit my stiffener again. Oh, good grief. I forgot to put live chat in. Guys, if you're out there and you're watching, or if you catch me later, um, there's something in comments. Oh, please, just let me know. If you're out there and you're listening, live chat's great. I've got several systems I can just run a line off to you while I'm watching. I don't like to go with the headphones. It's a terrible look. My hair is awful with these things, but I can't really hear right. If, in other words, I can hear what you hear. Without that, I thought quite well, and it turns out you couldn't hardly hear me on here. So apparently, I'm forced to wear headphones, and I don't like the ones that just stick in your ear. I don't like those things, so I have to go with the big ass ones. So also, I have this other little thing on my head. Back to me again. So it holds down the headphones, or they slip down. So yes, and I, mind you, now these little bottles are only yay big. I don't know if you can tell, but I have not had very much. I had ice in there, and still I'm just as happy as a clam. You can see the door light there opening. That's my husband going in and out. He's been trying to redo the lawnmower. It decided to blow a belt. It took him most of the morning to find said belt so that he could put it back on. Yes, he is that good. Yes, he is. He's that good. But it's very hot, and he won't listen to me when. I mean, we're not that young anymore. His birthday, like I said, is tomorrow. I got up this morning to where's the anniversary card? Because there's at least 4 days between us. Oh no, there's only three. Damn, it's been a long week. I think I mentioned that, didn't I? It also drives him a little crazy that once I get off here and then I'm doing the real work, as I like to put it. I literally have got where I take the mornings off and drink my coffee and watch whatever I want, and, in between the whole shower coffee thing, and get ready to jump up here just so that I can say, well, I didn't see a hell of a lot that was different than yesterday. Donnie, old Donnie. You love Donnie. Donald Trump, President Trump, I kid. I think he would find that as funny as I find Pocahontas. And Hillary's face when she found out it was the Gulf of America, and she busted out laughing. I did too when he said it. I busted out laughing. I said, "Ah, man, I never would have done that." I love that. Love the mugshot. Loving the mugshot. I would have done the same thing. He is funny. I think a lot of the public vote that he got. I really do. I got to where I didn't pay attention to that. It just cracked me up that Hillary didn't win the first time. Other than that, I didn't really pay attention. This time, I started catching him on stuff that I would watch, like Joe Rogan. That he was doing the podcast, and I was like, "Damn, he's funny." And he's not phony a bit. If he's really, unless I'm thinking about the last time he was in, because we had the pandemic, and we had turned our upstairs into two apartments because my grandson, he was now out of the army back from Korea and working in town, just to get by. And he was saving for his car and all that. So we made him a room up there on one side, and my husband had the man cave. So we just finished it off. And still, we were grateful we'd had the way to do it, you know. And a lot of eating meals that they left at the door. A lot of stuff from Walmart Plus, which is 2 miles away. So yeah, okay. Everybody got where I went with that one. I'm not too drunk, but I might be before I get done. Oh man, he's very high because he ran upstairs. So, but yeah, I think Donald Trump did a good. I think he was pretty good the first time around when I actually looked at it and started looking at stuff. And I caught him certain times. I was like, he's funny. He's got this like dry wit, but it's funny. He's funny. He's natural funny. I think. And I mean, Pocahontas, for God's sakes, I love that. I'll never forget that. Nobody will ever forget that. Excuse me. I'm hoping that the mugshot stays. Because if the next president, I would never move that mugshot. I'd let him paint, but you put that back there. What other person would have had the strength to run against everything and everybody for a decade and get the presidency twice? Not once, but twice. Once stolen, twice. Because it was stolen, I believe, and I didn't vote myself. So I didn't understand this thing between Democrat and Republican. It's like, what does it matter? And why aren't people voting secretly? Why are they all walking around with hats and banners and what the hell? I voted like one time, and after what happened then, I said I'm not going to vote again. Because to me it seemed like when the Electoral College votes, it's who's going to be president. I have yet to see that fail. And so I did. I said, well, what's the point? Even President Trump said he won the election from the Electoral College and he won the public vote. You noticed, and the public vote. So what happens if you don't have the public vote? Apparently nothing. It's a done deal. I'm just. But then I started catching up last year, and I had paid attention that 2 years of COVID because I had caught it, and I can tell you it's not something you want around. And like I said, we segregated and we did good, but some people weren't so lucky. Um, but this time around, again, he was doing the podcast. He was funny. He was relaxed. He wasn't pretentious. So open as he could be, as far as I was concerned. I never seen anything like it. And I used to research this all the time since they killed President Kennedy. But yeah, and I know I love the ballroom. First, he redid the Rose Garden, and he didn't tell them. And they showed up, and there was a new Rose Garden, and they're all like, "How can we afford a Rose Garden?" I was like, "Because we kept those rubbers we were going to send to Afghanistan." But I digress. Then he hit it with the new ballroom. Up on the roof saying, "Hey, Peter." I love Peter. His father, Stephen Ducey, was a weatherman for the new channel Fox News that started in our town in San Antonio. So I literally watched him grow up, and I knew his sound. I mean, his voice, I knew. And he's, "Hi, Peter," up on the roof, and he's down talking to Peter Ducey, Steve's son. They literally grew up in his father's shadow. I mean, Fox is one of the better news programs, and Steve just retired this year. And I was sad to see him. He moved to Florida. I was really sad to see him go, but they're going to be with the grandkids. And we retired last year. So I'm kind of getting used to it. I kind of like it, I guess. I've taken on too many other projects to think. Suddenly my day is like 9 o'clock, and Robert's saying, "What do you want to do about dinner?" And I'm like, "Dinner?" I didn't even stop for lunch. You didn't either. It'd be somebody broke it down, or somebody's bringing their car over for you to change the brakes, or it's, you know, mowing the yard and the lawnmower falling to pieces. And it's never just a smooth, even day around here. Actually, if somebody tells me it's only a little after 7 and I'm actually done, I'm shocked. I'm like, I dishes checked that. So Donald, I think, is doing good. Um, I think the Democrat. I don't know who these folks are, but every blooming one of them is just a sandwich side of a picnic. Have you listened to Jasmine? Jasmine, whatever she. I mean, I thought Kamala Harris. Now, I called her the giggle girl, whatever the hell she was on. I'd like to have had it when I was laid up with this broken leg. That woman was out of it. And Nancy Pelosi, what makes you get the hell up out of bed at 86 years old and apparently drink and take drugs all the way there and go to the Senate? You're 80 fucking six. You're worth $240 million. You're still showing up at the Senate. Oh, up in her, it's the House, Congress. We go to Congress. Why? They were all Dianne Feinstein in a medical bed with the bags and so forth attached so that she could vote yes. God, I don't remember on what. But what the hell makes these people stay until their 80s? What the hell? Why are they allowed to stay till their 80s? Then what about the stupid thing with Biden? There wasn't a damn one of us that didn't say, the man's in dementia. All of us knew it. One of my favorite was him trying to get the chair that was in the air somewhere behind him. You could turn around, it was just grass. I mean, I felt bad for him because what family does that to somebody? Well, apparently his does because they made a lot of money while that was going on. One tracked Nancy Pelosi's husband making her deals on Wall Street. Whatever, I don't know how he did it, but I saw where he did an interview. He did this. I realized they were getting rich. Why couldn't he? So he began doing it, and he's worth a ton of money now. He's worth a ton. And he said he followed their purchases. I do not understand how that's legal, but apparently it is. I can't remember the boy's name, and he's very young. One of the computer kids. Not in those, yeah, but someone like this who understands all this stuff, I don't know. I'm sure they wouldn't have looked at anything they couldn't or supposedly be able to look at. That he had no charges against him or anything, of course, or he wouldn't have been up there talking about it. I'm sure. Yeah, I did this. Wait a minute. Are the police here yet? Okay, hey, we're good. That's that. And there is a black helicopter on the lawn. Well, I gotta go. Yeah, that's mine. I had one of my guys. I don't have a lot of subscribers. I wish you would subscribe. Hit subscribe, guys. It takes 2 seconds. And if you don't like it, you can take it right the hell off. I'm just me, and I can get it off. I know y'all can get it off if you need to. They like that stuff. I don't know what it is. Something to do with my channel, and I'd like to keep it as long as I'm not asked forcibly to leave. But you're waiting on. Ugh. I imagine a lot of people wonder why I'm doing this at this time of the day. But again, this is my off time. When I get through here, I'm back at it again. And since we're going to end up with a 4-day weekend, well, maybe more. If I'm not going to be on here tomorrow, probably because it's my anniversary and my husband's birthday. And we are celebrating that this weekend. Although my son reminded me it was Labor Day. Mm. No, I don't dye my hair. So it's stuff like this that makes me gray. Um, and the headphones. Love these things. If you can have a good hair day with headphones, please call me at one. Yeah, I need the secret. And I have one boy who still needs to be snapped, and we've got to get that in with everything else we're doing. And he gets very vocal. He's not yet spraying or anything, but he's coming close to another couple of months probably, because we have a little kitten, female she couldn't see. She was blind, and she was trying to get to some food that the others were eating. And no one helped her. My husband noticed it. He just went and picked her up. And so we call her Fluffy. We don't bring all in. But I did lose 5 in a year, and it broke my heart. And you can't ever replace one. But cats are angels, I read once. And it was from a excerpt that was taken from Mr. Edgar Casey's books. He didn't write the books. He was called the sleeping prophet because he would go into a trance almost immediately upon lying down, and he could read the body like it was an X-ray. I mean, the blood, everything like it was an X-ray, and he would say, "Well, this certain vertebra was injured in a fall, and if you just have that set, take her to," and they had chiropractors. This was the early 1900s, and they would take the young lady there, and within 2 months or so she was out walking, and but the regular doctor, she was going to die. And I mean, but he just mustard packets and mustard places, that whatever they were called, they were made of mustard, mustard plasters, I think it was. But anyway, he did things like that. There was a good story. If you should have time to say it, they telegraphed. This is how long ago this was. That their daughter was dying, and could he give her a reading and see if they could save her? If not, could they say goodbye where she would hear them? And he did the reading, and he said, "She's going to be fine. You need smoke of oil." Remember, there's never forget, it was that smoke of oil. You need smoke of oil, and there was like 4 or 5 other ingredients, salt, this, that, and the other. And told them how to mix it, exactly how much to use of each thing, and how to apply it. And they got the things. Well, there was no smoke of oil. They said they hadn't made it in 5 years. So they run back to the telegraph office, and they tell him this. And he says, "No, you go to the pharmacy on 15th and Vine, and you tell that pharmacist that you want the bottle of oil of smoke or smoke of oil, whichever it was, behind the blue bottle on the third shelf behind him." And he did exactly that. Then he went back. He put it together as he had been instructed to. She was up and running around in 72 hours. None of it was. It was just natural ingredients. I don't know what the smoke of oil of smoke, whichever, was actually made of. But even though they had quit making it, it had sat on the shelf all that time. And yet, while he was in that trance, he could tell him that. The reason we have so much information from Mr. Edgar Casey is because his wife he always made sure she was present. There's reasons for that. Check into it. And they hired a secretary, Miss Gladys something. And he also taught Sunday school. When he was awake, he sounded nothing like the man in trance. He had only had, I think, maybe sixth, seventh grade education. It was a photographer, basically, how he made his living. He didn't make his living off being a sleeping prophet or helping people, however you want to put this. He had left 14,700 some odd cases, which they made sure that the names would never be known. They were always known by the numbers and so forth. But she cataloged those and everything he said down to it was. She said she was wondering one day whether she should put a comma after a statement or a period, and he said place a comma there. Uh-huh. He said he got them all from the Akashic Records, but it was fascinating to me. Atlantis, they finally started asking him the great stuff. Did they leave anything? Will we find anything? All that's, if you're interested, do please send comments. Look it up. I mean, tell me. I'll throw some good ones in there. His grandson, Thomas, he did a lot of work putting the things out there that his grandfather had left. He did it to help mankind. And he had been reincarnated many times, but when he was awake, he was a Baptist Sunday school teacher, and he had to really read. Now, he read the whole Bible through every year. It was one of the habits I liked about it. That, I didn't like the begat part, but the rest of it was pretty good. I had decided by the time I was 9 or 10, it's a history book, mainly. I had a lot of trouble with the churches because I would ask things like, oh, okay, well, God said that shall not kill. But he just told these guys to go in and kill everybody in there, burn it down, and salt the earth so it was nothing would ever grow there again. What did the bunny rabbit do that was so wrong? What did that 2-hour-year-old baby, what did that baby do wrong in 2 hours? Why everything if you say you shall not kill? Mom, I gotta go. They've been doing I got thrown out of so many churches. I think I quit going around 10 or so. Or when incognito, which would be called the high holidays. And I'd slam in, kind of with a couple of families and blend in. So I'd go for the high holidays. It was right there where I could walk to it. And then I started doing it by correspondence. I'm so lazy. And in today's digital age, I don't trust them for one. How many planes does a preacher freaking need anyway? And how many idiots are going to keep buying them? Yeah, show of hands. I've got time. So, yeah, it's been that kind of a week. And I'd love to talk about all the things I just did. I love that. Try to fit them all in there since for a change, I haven't been kicked, thank you, Lord, off of my channel yet, although I will be having to dash in 15 minutes. I call it my lunch break. Again, I had two friends, and I was going to have them on as guests. I still might if I can catch them and tie them down. But they said that they were a little antsy about the title. I was like, Lady Hippy at the bar. And I said, yeah, people think with Lady Hippie you're getting stoned, and at the bar means you're drunk. And I'm like, I'm not changing it. I'm doing the best I can to hold on with my fingertip. That's several hundred people who subscribe, and God bless all of you. Thank you very much. Um, but apparently you have to reach a certain level of subscriptions in order to keep a channel past maybe X amount of time. I don't know. I didn't do all the look and wonder. It's free. You can talk to everybody. They can talk back to you. It's the most marvelous thing. I swear. When I was growing up, I used to think Dick Tracy's watch was so cool because he could talk to people and see them on it. And I'd be damned if we don't just call it an Apple now in my lifetime. In 60 years, we went from using a horse and buggy to a man standing on the moon. Is that not awesome? Yes, that's awesome. Our world stopped whenever these space flights went. Our world stopped. If you were at school, which we loved that, grouped around the TV. If you were home, you and relatives and neighbors, you grouped around that black and white TV. And they actually, and I said at the time, if he could talk to him on the phone on the moon, why can't we call across the street? And my parents were like, shut up. They got used to the fact real quick. And in the air, we had an article in Parade magazine when we were adopted, because we were adopted by what they considered older than what they would usually do. And they got a stipend each month until we were 18. And so it was kind of wild. But in there, it says that I read at the education of fourth degree, so college level. And so I didn't have to take as many of the smaller classes. You can only go so far with that when you're 5 foot. You're twice. It's like Sheldon, or his girlfriend, the young girl. You can't make friends because you're scared to death of anybody over 14. Or somebody who's 16. They get to go to the prom. All that was so important back then. And I managed to pull off a few of those. I don't know how. I was a very determined young woman. I'll put it that way. I always have to keep bright lighting them. And he only lets me have these basically when I'm on. And I don't buy them for myself, so he always has to buy them for me. And it's a good way to keep, because I quit smoking. And technically, this is not smoking. Somehow we've arrived at that conclusion, and I'm a wonder that I'm good. I still, like I said, I haven't seen too many folks up here today. They might not have caught me because of lunch and it being a Wednesday. I think I've explained everything I have about the weekend. I don't know if I'll pop up on Friday. I doubt it. Uh, Trying to get ready for all this, I may just take an actual day off in between just to do me, which is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So what else did I want to tell you? I think that was it. It's my guy again, Fast Walker, the Nipper. I don't know if everybody remembers Bob. What was this Bob? Bob, he told about Area 51. Bob Lazar, and had worked there, and he said that they called one of them Fast Walker because it would go fast in spurts. And it stuck in my mind all these years. I always said he told the truth. They finally proved it. But so he would do that. He would run his stock and run his stock. And they brought him to us at midnight in the middle of a rainstorm. And he still had his umbilical cord. And my husband was going to take it. And they said, well, we'll just put it back on the road then. They knew we'd take it when they said that. So, of course, these little antics, though. So bottle fed and raised bass. There's no way if you bottle feed one of them, they're yours. Or they just pine away because, mom and dad are already gone and then your mom and dad. And literally, we both feed them. We have several we bottle fed, not as many as we used to have, but yeah. So, but he's I don't know what I would call him. I'll think of a name sometime and I'll throw it in. Only thing I can ever think of is Nipper because it makes me crack up when I watch him fight Robert. I'm only slightly mean, slightly, just a little bit. Um, I think I'm going to title this episode because I've been saying that a lot. By now, you must be tired of hearing that. I think everybody should support the president. Seems like he's doing a good thing this time. And last time, if we look into it, it did a pretty damn good thing. They tried to impeach him twice. They tried to kill him twice. They've done everything they could to this man. They charged him on counts. They've given him mugshots. They've just raided his home. Don't you know he always kept at least one or two documents in Melania's panty drawer? Of course, that's where you put that stuff. These people should all be charged with treason, sedition, traitor, all of it. I mean, those laws are there for a reason. Benedict Arnold didn't come just for dinner. Look it up. These people are guilty of that and much, much, much more. In particular, with the weekend and weekend at Bernie's house. What the hell was all that? It was weekend at Biden's for 4 years. I heard somewhere he'd sent out. I heard 1,500 pardons, and then I heard 5,000 pardons, and then I heard auto pen, and I'm like, holy crap! I mean, but you knew it was already it had to be dirty through all the way from the bottom to the top. That's how that shit works. It's not. I used to work in D.C. I lived in Maryland, but I worked in D.C. I've always been with the government until a lot of time. And yeah, if you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody else, you get away with it. And I seen that. And there's not a damn thing you do about that. Except pretend you didn't see that. If you're smart, you just go to the Watergate Hotel when it was still standing, and get drinks. And I had some senator friends in there, and they used to tell me all the time, "You got to move; they're going to shoot you." And I'm like, "There's nobody around." He says, "There's probably 15 dudes that are recording us right now." I was in my middle 20s, late 20s. Yeah, so it's a real hoot, though. Senators ain't no different than the rest of us. They put their pants on one leg at a time, too. They just use more expensive pants. Mm. Yeah, I miss those days. Oh, in the Reagan years, that man could walk into a room with a joke and we'd be on the floor laughing. Oh, Ronnie always had a good joke. He always had a good joke. He was the man's man. I mean, he was, and Nancy as well. Nancy, the ever change. We called her the never changing Nancy because I don't care what that poor woman wore, she looked the same. And I bulked up in this bed, but I was always like her in my youth. I was, that pencil thin. I used to worry about her. And the food was never any good at those dinners. I don't know what that was all about. But every time those you're paying like 150 a plate. I would not do it. My mother-in-law would. I would not do it. My ex-mother-in-law. Yeah, those were a lot of fun because you could leave and go get something to eat. In 20 minutes, I mean, I'm ready to go. We haven't been here in a while yet. They won't know. We were here and we're on the camera somewhere. You knew everything, every angle, even back in the 80s. But it wasn't true of everything in your vicinity. In other words, you open. I love that. People don't realize that. I don't think, but I'm one of those people that can feel somebody watching me all the time, and I know when I'm not being watched. And now every time I go outside, the minute you close your door, guys, you're on. You're on. Basically, I put it that way. You are on television if they want you to be. It's everybody has security, so you're staying. That I think it said that you're on camera about 96% or something of your time. If you, once you open your door, you're and most people, and this is the other statistic, most people are on camera at home, and if they don't have every room uh, set up that way, they will set their phones and so forth, and then film the whole room on there. I was like, oh, geez, that would be just like a bad movie dragging on forever, but it's probably true. Excuse me. I know my son does, and so I used to have the cameras up, and I finally told my husband we had security, and because he was not home, he was truck driver, and I have a weapon all the time. I might have three on me. You don't know. I said I could equalizer. I'm not young, and I'm not stupid either. If I'm going, I'm taking your ass with me. You better start getting right with God. Yeah, 'cause I'm ready to go. You come through my house. Don't do it. My husband will actually call me ahead of time and say, I'm home late. Don't shoot me at the door. Because it's the way I've always wanted to. I'll keep something near me for one thing for protection, but also one of the windows will be cracked so I can hear outside. And because my home has been broken into twice with me in it, luckily, and I had weapons. I didn't have to use them. They could run pretty quick. Oh, I could have. I don't want to. I just don't want the hassle of going in and them going, well, they're from Mexico. I mean, serious to God, that's what there was in the 80s when and I had my car burglarized, my house twice. They wouldn't even check for fingerprints. I'm like, I can see the fucking fingerprints on the window pane. Oh, we don't need those. He's in Mexico already. You won't catch him. I'm like, you won't, but get the hell out of my way. Now you're thinking, I knew I should have shot him. Then there would have been paperwork and all that, and you'd have been in jail. That they would have made time for that. They couldn't arrest the perpetrator, but if you had defended yourself, they would have plenty of time to take you down and get you mugshotted and fingerprinted and put in the cell and got an attorney. Yeah, they could do that for you. They still can. I've never understood how people let this go by one night with people put up for 4 years in these hotels while people that are citizens, and they're citizens, many of them serve the country, out on the street. And intent to God to help them if they're not. There's too many things like that that's been going on. It's good to see that DC was being cleaned up. I'm on his side in that too. It's a beautiful place. Love the horse guys. They're still there. I used to get rides from them. Used to be a smoke in on 4th of July weekend, and I'd get a lift back to where I was on the rooftop. Good stories. I don't guess they'll probably walk in the 21st century, but they were a lot of fun in the 20th. My time is about up. I try to put no more than an hour in. I'm bored, everybody. If you see me, please, like I said, hit the like and tell somebody else. See if they like it. I mean, what the hell? I'm not going to stop. I want to talk to other people like me. Completely nuts and liking a big bar setting to just talk and be comfortable. And we can do that. We can do that with Skype. However y'all want to do that. I've learned a few things. In the meantime, gotta go. Y'all have a good Labor Day weekend. Stay out of trouble. That doesn't mean stay sober. I'm not going to. I'll see you probably after Labor Day. Thanks for coming by.